Okay, let's jump into Cyber Forest, guys, as we load up and get this started. Alright, so where are players going to be? I'm saying INnoVation top left. Oh, he's bottom right. Does this caster ever get anything right? Bottom right hand side, our red Terran player, we have got INnoVation. Top left, the Finnish god, our BlizzCon champion, Serral. It would be a real shame if Serral did not pick up that one map win to guarantee him first place in the group. Obviously can finish first if he loses 0-2, I believe. I believe he still can finish first. It just depends on the other results and map scores in that case. As we have got Overlord coming down the left-hand side. And a hatchery dropping into the natural expansion here already from Serral, as the Overlord going to start moving down to the bottom right-hand corner. And the command center setting up in the main. SCV coming out. And going to be coming through in just a few moments' time. There's a couple of workers mining away on the refinery. And do you see this Overlord just coming along? So Overlord coming over at the moment. And the hatchery just coming up on the natural. So all of this getting ready to roll. And we do see the couple of drones popping out from Serral in ready to go in towards that gas in the next few moments. So Serral's shown us obviously some pretty good ZVT today. He lost a long game against Gumiho. That was just on the mainstream, but then he also showed us some very good stuff against Mech. Now, INnoVation has not been playing Mech at all today. He's been playing Bio, and pretty much every series I've seen him play, there might have been one or two where maybe he did sneak in some Mech plays, but I've only seen him playing Bio. So, having only played Bio so far, INnoVation probably expect him to keep it up. He has gone for a couple of funky builds as well, where he's mixed in that kind of, the marine-only opening. He hasn't gone into the Hellions, and those couple bits and pieces have gone very well for him. We'll see if Serral maybe tries to abuse that if it does happen, like Solar did earlier. INnoVation did try that on this map, if I'm not mistaken, earlier today. Also tried out New Repugnancy against Ragnarok, which we saw. This is actually our third series cast in INnoVation today. Been quite lucky to grab all of these TVZs. Shame we didn't cast INnoVation on a better day, but it's been pretty fun nonetheless, as we see the couple of Zerglings nibbling on that Reaper. And the Queen coming forwards, that Reaper going to get pushed away into the middle. And the third hatchery of Serral dropping down in the center. Left from Serral starts up in the main base. Going to see that command center on the natural finishing as well. Morphing into an orbital expansion already, so just going straight through. I mean, obviously pretty standard stuff, and it is going to be Hellions from INnoVation as well, so nice to get that confirmation. Serral with a pretty fast lair. Would be a shame. Is he really just going to Rotro and Nidus this? I mean, that's what he's setting up for right here. He saw INnoVation dying to this once today. And this is not the build which kind of hard counters that either, or the Medivac as well. Doesn't even get the Banshee towards doing this. Drops an Armory on the low ground, so he's going to try, okay, well, Hellbats or something at least. So, still yet to show us what's coming out of the lair, because he hasn't started the Road Drawing either just yet. We've seen a couple of builds which have been like, what was it? No, that wasn't a ZVP. I was thinking Reyno did a Link Queen Nidus, but it was in a ZVP, different matchup. And here we go, Rotron dropping down, Nidus dropping down. The Hellbats will help out a little bit, because they are something that can actually really kind of, well, at least kind of fight and sort of clean up a little bit, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of roaches out to help deal with those Hellbats. As this attack coming in from INnoVation, Marine Hellbat attack pushing in towards the upper left-hand side. Taking a couple shots now. Obviously, Serral seeing this. Hellions not morphing into Hellbats until just now. Serral splits one of his, or two of his queens up to the high ground here. Wonder if they're going to just come back in the back and target the Medivac. Yes, they do. Obviously, the Nidus is there, and that's information for INnoVation as Serral uses the Nidus to reposition his couple of queens away from the units. He loses one queen on the low ground. Obviously, this looks dangerous right now as he kills the Medivac, though. He's going to pop the queens over on the other side again. It's just a matter of waiting for these roaches. As soon as the roaches show up, it's become so much more difficult for INnoVation to really get away with. And Well, you can see it right now, can't you? Those Helibats starting to drop to those roaches. Albeit a little bit slowly. Now some drones in trouble as well. 2 workers killed, more roaches. Getting the kills now. All the Helibats are down. The counterattack is going to be really deadly. As Serral will put down a Nidus network. Main base, natural. Where does he put it? There's 2 bunkers coming up, but there's only 2 Marines out. Is that a changeling to block those Marines getting in this bunker? Okay, gets targeted down. There is going to be a Liberator here. The Queen count, only 1, so it's actually not that great. And INnoVation is really going to try and trap these units in, as Serral will decide to jump out of it. And he is going to lose the Nidus for the moment, so well, pulling the roaches away. Siege tank finishes up. Serral is not in the best of positions still at the moment, although he can jump down to the natural with some other units. A couple of lings and a roach popping out over here. Again, the Liberator's something you just can't really respond to at the moment. There's not enough queens in the game. He is going to morph in some Ravagers with some of his gas as he begins to drone up back at home. Killed 7 workers so far. And these few slow Zerglings and the roach is picking up another couple over here. We still have these units in the main base as well. There's a couple of Liberators coming in now, but with the Ravagers finished, he has enough to at least bile down a Liberator. We'll see if Serral actually wants to fight, or if he's just going to run away with the Nidus. I mean, he gets the Nidus up so he can retreat at some stage. Testing the extent of the siege tank range with those 2 Zerglings. Now he knows where those tanks are positioned. He knows where he can and cannot get to with the Ravagers very easily. He gets straight behind the mineral lines. Another 2-3 workers killed most likely. Corrosive files for the Liberator as well. Nicely done, but he does cost him 1 Ravager. Those Marines pressing forwards, and Serral probably could have turned and picked off a couple if he wanted. He has, oh my god, now the Nidus on the low ground and everything's on the main base! So back down to the low ground, it's going to be even more workers dropping down as INnoVation just cannot deal with this. The worker goes down on the ramp as well, back into the Nidus, back up into the main, repositioning all of the time. Yeah, the tank count is good, sure, but eventually you just get broken down here as those tanks. Those Ravagers definitely don't want to run into tank range. Will do so, though, and takes a shot. Hits the SCV as it pops out of the refinery. Good kill. 11 workers slain. Once again. So this is now, what, on top of what was killed before? 21 workers. And Serral has been droning up a bit at home. He's now got the Evo chambers started. Obviously, INnoVation's only just getting into a 2nd and 3rd rack, so his extra production is very delayed here. And that definitely has cost them just a little bit, as we see this Nidus network going to be under fire, and this probably will be the end of this aggression now. INnoVation already salvages one of the bunkers. He is stabilized. He is alive. But has he got a chance to counterattack? Does he have a chance to do anything he needs to make it back into this game? Because it's still a really rough spot. No 3rd command center, just the 2 bases. That's obviously something else to keep in mind here. INnoVation really is actually extremely committed to these 2 bases and the 3 racks. And there you go, 4th and 5th racks too. So he's really just going to play the 2 base all in here, or at least the 2 base heavy pressure before transitioning. Viking up to the top side. Just looking for some Overlord kills perhaps. Queens are able to intercept this Liberator instantly. Serral just always seemingly in the right positions, and he just instantly shuts that down. Liberator probably can't even commit into a mineral line now. Turns back home, goes to get repaired. And Serral just keeps himself even safer for even longer. Transitions in towards Ling speed. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see a Bane and nest perhaps coming down and a switch towards Ling Bane in general with the Roach Ravager. It's a little bit more of a stable composition to go into for the mid game. It's a bit better than just pure Roach Ravager. And the Ling speed obviously definitely suggests that. That's coming through for the moment. Serral, with Roaches and Ravagers picking off whatever that single Marine was wandering through. Extra Ravagers morphing in. Siege tank starting up from Inno in the main base. It's going to be an Overseer that wants to try and do something down in this main. Drop down another Nidus perhaps. I mean, even just a few Roaches to go run into the mineral line could be really powerful. Or a counterattack. You take your entire army across the map. You know what? If, INnoVation's in the middle, then he's, going to have to pull back quite far to deal with that. But the amount of siege tanks here, Serral has to be very cautious of those. There's 7 tanks. As that Nidus is about to complete, there's just a few Roaches here to harass the main base. It's all just damage INnoVation can't afford to take. And INnoVation can't move across the map because those Roaches and Ravagers lie in the middle waiting for him. He has to push with siege tanks sieged up, and that's the issue. If you're pushing with sieged up tanks, it takes quite a while. Roaches back away. We'll probably get to the Nidus before it goes down. And we do see a bit of a start-up fight over here. Serral loses a little bit as he fights in. The tank fire is pretty dangerous, as we mentioned before. Just kill it off and clean out a few Marines. That was a bit messy from Serral. Not what I was expecting at all. The Liberator has come back in as well. Gets a few drone kills. Liberator gets picked off. Marines able to go after that Overseer. We are just going to be seeing. I mean, what does INnoVation do? You can't really just leave units in the main because you have to try and push. And if you leave units in the main as well, like imagine you leave like 5 or 6 Marines. Maybe you can kill the Nidus coming down, but if that Nidus gets up, the Marines just die because the Roaches will just pop out and they can just overwhelm, you know, because Serral can just send as many units as he wants. And that's the really powerful part of a Nidus. It's very difficult for the Terran to know how many units are inside and how much you're gonna, you know, how much the Zerg's going to commit to the attack. That's rough. I guess you can stop the Nidus coming up though. Maybe that's what he really has to hope for here, if anything. Overseer's back through the natural. Serral is still struggling to clean up the rest of this army just because the Ravagers are taking so many hits from the tanks. Move forward more from Balins here on the way. There's the Nidus on the way up in the natural as well. You see a couple of Balins getting picked off as well. Units still pushing through. And again, Roaches and Lings just pour out of the Nidus. There's nothing in the natural. INnoVation didn't even see this. I mean, he should have seen this. This definitely is INnoVation's bad. He's walked so many reinforcing units beyond this. He could have at least kept a few units around to protect us. Well, the Bane nest might go down before Bane Speed is done, so this attack on the other side is still a little bit scary. Serral actually has to give up the right-hand base. Bane nest down, centrifugal hooks denied. INnoVation's army still has a little bit of potential here. Serral rebuilding the Bane nest now. More Lings on the way up. The Roach Ravager looking for the way in to really shut down this army. INnoVation still only 2 bases, so all Serral has to do is survive. Losing 1 base, yeah, it's an annoyance, but it isn't the end of the world. It's playable still, and he's just going to go for it now. Crows the Pals on top of a bunch of those tanks already. A few of them going down as the Lings get on top of them as well. That is going to be the cleanup that Serral's been looking for a little while here. Everything cleaned up, and the thing is from INnoVation, you just don't get back to that number of siege tanks ever again in this map. Because you're already, you know, tanks take a long time to build, and it took him pretty much the entire game to get that number of tanks up. He's not going to get that many opportunities again. He has to go sooner than that. And so the tanks were the one thing that were really scary for Serral, and now that he's cleaned those up, the rest of this should be a walk in the park for him. INnoVation pressing on for 3. Serral just hanging back again. Losing the Bane Speed was definitely a little bit unfortunate. Definitely took him away from kind of how he wanted to play this. Crows the Pals on tank number 1. Crows the Pals on tank number 2. Sees the GG through. And Serral will advance first place in Group C as he takes down INnoVation in map number 1. Obviously, we still have the rest of this series to play, but that map win means that Serral will advance in first place now. Awesome. Alright, game number 2 on King's Cove. Nice large map. Alright then. Getting set into King's Cove in just a few moments' time. Let's see what's going to be happening. As everybody joining our lobby. Serral INnoVation game 2 about set to go. Meanwhile, Rogue Gumiho still ongoing over on the main stream if you guys want to go and check that out. On the C stream, which I don't think there should have been a result for Solar Ragnarok yet. Nope, they're still in game number 1 as well. So jumping our way in towards game 2 ourselves. We're a little bit ahead of everyone else. We're eager to get into Group D, obviously. Apparently we're just real eager. Alright. Jelly Chef is called, and we can start this game. Okay. King's Cove, map number 2. Let's get this set on up. Loading on into the game. Let's see what happens. To the bottom right-hand side, our red Terran player down a map. This is INnoVation. Top left-hand side, the blue Zerg is Serral. So now this series really has become, gotten to the point where it means nothing else. If Serral wins, whether he loses at this point, it won't put him down from first place in the group. He is guaranteed first place. And if INnoVation wins or loses, he's still going to be last place no matter what. So INnoVation is just fighting for a little bit of hope in himself right now. A little bit of a pick-me-up more than anything, because right now it's going to be a long, sad flight back to Korea for INnoVation. Alongside Maru, they can sit next to each other and just cry about Terran on the way home, perhaps, because, yeah, they've really had nothing to cheer about this entire tournament. Maru took down Dark and Lambo in the end yesterday, but INnoVation 0-4 on the verge of going 0-5. If there was anyone you would expect not to win any map in this, any series in this group, I wouldn't have picked INnoVation at all. It's tough. This is an early pool from Serral. Pool first into the hatchery. It's quite, and we do see 6 lings already on the way up from it. So Serral going for a bit of aggression, bit of a switch up to start up game number 2 here. Takes the gas now as well after the hatch comes down, so we'll see if this perhaps follows up into some sort of another kind of aggressive roach attack or something along those lines. Let's see coming up. A few Zerglings running over already. Now the SCV scan from INnoVation is something he's been doing all day in TVZ. It sees the hatchery is not finished yet, and so he pulls his Reaper back home to defend against the lings. But it does mean that Reaper is now at home and not across the map to potentially scout a follow-up attack. So that's something to keep in mind here. There's a couple lings from Serral actually going to head back home. This SCV is still hanging around as well. Obviously the lings on the right side will not commit in because the Overlord sees that the Reaper is right here, and if you know the Reaper's there, there's absolutely no reason to send those Zerglings in. They're just gonna die. Reaper is now going to move across. Obviously, as the command center finishes, there's not really much to actually come in and do with those Zerglings, so the Reaper can finally go over and see what's up. As Serral getting ready just to pop down. That third hatchery will be there before the Reaper can potentially block it, although Reaper goes for the natural expansion anyway, so Reaper to the natural, not going to look to block that third or harass that third base at all. Queen of a couple of shots onto the Reaper, which gets pushed away over to the side. Link speed about halfway done. Couple of Hellions moving up in towards the natural expansion here. Creep just spreading out a little bit further. Going to see that Reaper grenade dropping down. Reaper is going to be chased and picked off by the Zerglings. And now Serral drops a Roach Roaring down in the natural. So playing some sort of a Roach-based play once again here. Oh, that's scoutable with the Hellions though. I think Serral was expecting 2 Hellions to come diving in. INnoVation will click on that Roach Roaring 2. Costs him a Hellion, but very good scout. And I wonder now if Serral will really commit through with the Roaches. No, he will not. Was definitely planning something a little bit tricky and a little bit sneaky. Obviously not so sneaky if the Hellions just run in and scout it though. Serral drops the Bane Nest. INnoVation picks his way through this Overlord. Moving in towards the main as well. Those Hellions from Inno going to move up the left side. Couple of Queens already dealing some damage to those Hellions. The Lings around the left, so well, this is actually dangerous for Serral. There's potential for a real barbecue here. 6 drones down. The Hellions are still running free. Well, this is real bad from Serral. Obviously, it's a little bit of a switch up. He was expecting to have Roaches right now, so he wasn't really prepared for Hellions to catch him off guard like this. And Serral looks mortal once again as he loses 15 drones. Now the Liberator will deny mining time in the main base. Serral taking some real bad damage in the early stages of this game number 2. INnoVation finally finding his footing a little bit in this series after a really weak game number 1. Yeah, this all comes from, you have to cancel the Roach Roaring because you obviously planned some kind of attack. And because you cancelled that, you obviously weren't quite set up as usual, so you obviously expect to have Roaches against the Hellions. With that cancel, things go a little bit haywire, Definitely puts Serral in a bit of an odd spot as, oh my god, the Lings just run by because there's wall off on the left side. I love it. He comes in from the left in the first place as well. Oh my god, suddenly Serral comes in, kills the Marines. The SCV's on the way down. Tell you what, all the Hellions died, so there's absolutely nothing that can come to defend us. There is one siege tank currently on the map. That's all INnoVation has to fight. The Liberators obviously across the map as well are harassing. A few more drones going down to those Liberators as the Lings make their leave, make their exit. Wow. Only 5 SCVs lost, I think is very impressive. Some lost mining time as well. I mean, more importantly, the Marines going down means that there's less units for INnoVation to use in terms of continuing to harass, right? As INnoVation is going to siege his Liberator in the corner of this map. That's a very interesting choice. But yeah, obviously, you know, losing the few Marines means any sort of push INnoVation is planning is now that little bit weaker. Serral going to keep on building up. By no means has that one single attack gotten back in the game, but it does help a little bit. Serral just needing to keep those overwards coming in as well. Wants to stay away from any potential supply blocks. As INnoVation's got that third base very soon. The upgrades from both are coming in. He's just going to keep the harassment up with this Liberator at the moment. I'll probably bring this Liberator back into play at the same time, just to try and pull those Creans around a little bit. Well, the Baneling Nest coming in from Serral, similar to the last game, just going in towards Ling Bane after, well, I guess he never went into Roaches this time, but obviously he kind of wanted to for a while. Queen was the, yeah, could definitely get around that corner and should have maybe been there a little bit faster. This Lib still not coming back in. INnoVation taking this as an opportunity to move forwards on the map. Marines and tanks pressing up to the top side. A few Zerglings of Serral going to run on over to the right. Extra Banelings just finishing up. Creep spread pushing forwards. Overseer up in the skies. Well, Serral's fourth base is obviously pretty vulnerable at the moment. The Bane Nest isn't exactly well-timed either, and so, oh, he just loses a few Lings. Double drones going down as the Liberator is back. Serral's going to actually just try and dive on this. He does get the Lings on top of the tanks. Well, he's going to clean up the tanks, which obviously generally makes the follow-up a little bit easier as well. I'm just trying to get those Marines with Medivacs with being targeted by the Queens. Transfusions are traded, but the Medivac is going to lift those Marines after they get the Queen kill. And Serral is still bleeding. You just don't lose 15 workers in the early game and survive. That's the problem. 15 workers is a huge amount. And Serral, everything's being pushed back from that point. The Baneling Nest was late, so the Bane Speed's not here. Everything's just been completely haywire this game, and Serral, again, definitely just not looking perfect in this series, and hasn't looked perfect all day. Has been losing maps here and there. The only series he didn't lose a map in was versus Rogue. He won that 2-0. INnoVation, obviously, at this point, should be able to close this out, unless some Baneling connections are truly miraculous. So they're going to get rid of those tanks now. I mean, Serral is going to push this away. You know what? I just shouldn't speak too soon. I shouldn't speak too soon when Serral's involved. Starts up those upgrades as well, so he won't be that far behind the Terran. He still has pretty good creep out the right and the left. It's just their central position he really needs to work on a little bit further. So Serral survives at the moment. I really thought INnoVation's push here was going to do it, but tanks keep going down, and well, now he's going to revert back to that dropping style. Waiting for his 2-2 push a little later. Medivacs will just boost by. Spore repositions. The Medivacs going straight to the main, but the Zerglings are here. No chance to unload. And that's going to be Serral with a good defense against the first drop. 2 more Medivacs to the left side here. Again, a bit of this group spread perhaps. And you saw INnoVation really focus on this left-hand area against Ragnarok so he could drop up into the natural and main. I don't really think it worked out too well though. Oh my god, INnoVation loses all the Marines to Baneling as well. That's painful, as these two Medivacs still not finding anywhere to drop off because the Zerglings are still around. Serral's so ready to just jump on anything that unloads from that Medivac. There's a 5th base, now coming down to the top side. So the 5th hatchery will build, as we have the Zerglings of Serral hanging out to the left, +2 melee and +2 carapace on the way, +2 attack and armor from INnoVation as well, as we see him actually pushing up from the bottom side here. Going to grab a few of those Marines already. So a few Marines going down. Marines pressing up through the middle. Scan, troop spread being cleaned out. Extra banelings from Serral, still just morphing in, and these Zerglings running around the map, seeing where he can go to. As on the right side, we see the Marine's going to pick up a whole ton of creep tumors. So all of this creep getting picked up at the moment. As the 5th hatchery is going to be finishing shortly. Well, Serral, he's losing creep spread, but he's got 5 bases. He's going in towards Hive. He's getting his Hydra upgrades, and he's alive, I think, is the important part of this. His INnoVation, though, has obviously really primed himself to go into a very strong late-game scenario. Adding on his starports now, Fusion Core on the way up. Most likely for Liberator range, not for battle cruisers. And the Ghost Academy as well, so he is really making that switch in towards the late game as well. King's Cove is not a map that's easy to push on because of its size, because of the, just strength of the flanks from the Zerg. It's definitely a map to play the later stages on. That's where we're headed to right now. And Serral coming up towards maxing. It's still dangerous if you're an INnoVation fan, I feel. It's definitely not over yet. Serral always finding a way somehow. Well, Hive going to be finishing soon. Scan from INnoVation. Sees the Hive on the way, so at least it's a good timer for him. Of course, he doesn't know exactly how close it is to finishing, but just knowing it's on the way is still pretty good information to roughly just, roughly judge, okay, how long do I have in this game until this or that happens? Single Marine dealing some damage to some of those Lings there. Marine gets picked off. Lings, Veins, and Hydras coming over. Let me see, there's some medevac and Marines of INnoVation going to start stemming up to the top side as well. Some creep spread. Coming out over to the right. Zerg is going to loop around. Going to come in and pick these Marines off. So medevac doesn't even live for some reason. INnoVation distracted elsewhere on the map. He doesn't even get a creep tumor. And it's these losses that are starting to bring Serral back into the game. You can see resources lost is only a 500 advantage for INnoVation. If we have a quick peek at the income tab, you can see Serral's definitely kind of stabilizing quite nicely. And you just see the points where INnoVation is definitely taking some bad fights, putting him into some bad spots. Lings, Bins, and Hydras from Serral hanging out in the center. We've got Lingbane Hydra to the left too. Just poising if there's an opportunity, but I don't think there will be. I think this is more so going to be a slow it down, play the very late game. Ultra Cavern coming in, the Hive is done, Adrenal Glands and Vipers. All of these additions will just make the Terran army that much easier to combat. Of course, the Terran army improving all the time as well. With Liberators on the way out, Ghosts should not be far off too. We see Personal Cloaking is almost completed, so Ghosts really make it difficult for the Zerg to engage in. Army on the bottom left-hand corner is the two medevacs of INnoVation running through all the way through the bottom side. And Liberator of INnoVation all the way through the top as well. And that probably wants to siege up one of these bases. I mean, Liberators at this stage of the game are very efficient methods of harassing because it takes quite a lot of, especially when they get lib range, it takes quite a lot of commitment to get rid of them. And it's just one single unit. Yes, okay, it's expensive, but you also have quite a few of them, so usually you can afford to kind of have a couple moving around to harass. It's a very effective way rather than lifting another chunk of your bio and dropping. Wow, suddenly INnoVation is all over the place. Top right base under trouble. This left-hand side dropped. Meanwhile, Serral attacks in towards the 5th base of INnoVation. So INnoVation will lose some workers here. May very well lose the planetary quarters as well. He will. Ghost will clean up. None of those go down, thankfully, for INnoVation. 14 SCV lost to the 5 drones. There's attack on the left side, cleaned up as well. Now an attempt to drop through the top side as we see the Vipers. They could abduct the medevacs. Parasitic Bomb is the choice. Could have abducted this Liberator for the amount of damage it's done. Would have been worthwhile. Obviously an abduct pulls it out of siege mode as we see the medevacs now going down. 10 workers killed here from INnoVation in the end as the Lings and Veins will play cleanup. But this was really tough for Serral. He lost a lot trying to clean this up, and it took him a lot longer than I think he expected or wanted it to. Especially this Liberator was such a hero over here. Picked up so many kills. I think it was here, actually. Picked up so many kills, especially on the Hydras. I mean, a few Hydras going down. Really costly. And we've seen the Liberators of INnoVation coming up the left-hand side. Infestors on the way up, though. And so Serral's really hitting that true Zerg late game. Neuroparasite, Infestors, Great Aspire. He's going to have all of his different options available to him here as this drone becomes a spore crawler, still trying to push back those Liberators. Sends a few cryptos off to the side to deal with it, although he needs to deal with this one as well. It's actually not just drones that are in trouble here, but the lava. Not the end of the world, but still kind of costly. The infrastructures come through. The barriers will be cleaned out once more, but again, definitely not for free. 9 broodlords begin to morph in. This is where INnoVation really needs to make sure he's got a late game setup, and he does. He's got a good amount of liberators. His ghost count is building. He takes another base on the right hand side, so he continues to set up across so many different bases. Doing a very good job of this. Another scan out into the middle. Broodlords are about to finish from Serral. Have extra overseers too. Make sure he's got the detection against those ghosts. Nuke on the way from INnoVation. Another way of harassing as you hit these later stages. Just got to give it to INnoVation though. He's kept Serral away from ever really creating a bank. Serral is only just now really going to start building up here a little bit, and you know, that's not good for the Zerg player who is generally looking to be able to rebuild very freely after these larger fights. So Serral definitely a little bit starved out, and in these much later game scenarios definitely seems to be a little bit shakier today. Obviously, I mean, this entire game has been a bit funky though, because he got behind early. He's been playing from a massive deficit. I mean, I thought this game was over with one of the pushes that INnoVation made. It was one of those attacks where it's like, well, how do you clean this up? And then suddenly, the Ling's on top of the tanks, and somehow they just don't die before the tanks are gone, and everything turned around a little bit right then. The game at least continued. This drop is just unseen for way too long, and this hatchery will fall. So a couple of hatcheries getting shut down. Serral is struggling to get off of 5 bases, and that's a big problem. Because as INnoVation sets up to 6 bases, what feels very easily, if Serral can't get off of his 5, and INnoVation starts to outmine him, well, Serral's definitely not been playing efficiently this game. He's a couple of thousand resources lost behind. But INnoVation just has so many bases to mine from that even if he did play inefficiently, he'd really be able to close this out by denying Serral's bases. You'll see some Ling Bane left up here now, as he knows INnoVation is obviously quite, quite wanting to drop into those positions. Chases down, able to grab a Marauder. A few more Vikings on the way up. Now 4 Ghost Academies at once. So looking to start nuking really around the map and all over the place. And that just adds a whole new level of stress to Serral's gameplay, because suddenly, every few seconds, you've got to go and look for that little red dot, figure out where the nuke's coming in from, pull your units and your drones away, and as soon as it's dropped, send them right back at it. And of course that can happen so often with so many different ghosts available and so many nukes available off of multiple Ghost Academies. It's a very good way to take up a lot of the Zerg players' APM in the later stages with INnoVation, pushing the top right hand side of the map. And Banes continue to press through. Nice connections on the Banes, clean up a little bit. It's not enough though. That's the issue. This Terran army, this bio trades so well, and now Serral having to make another round of Zerglings to try and deal with it. Sending Corruptors over to try and hunt down the Medivacs. Again, the Banes are just not going to trade efficiently in these fights with the splits that INnoVation is putting in. Okay, now he's going to get the Medivacs though. That's a pretty big deal. A nuke in the center of the map. We'll look at that in a moment. Let's see how many of these Medivacs fall. Half of them do. So nuke comes down in the middle of the map. Not sure if Serral sees it at the moment. Tanks up the left side have actually denied a base. Now is going to go off. Now he's going to be cleaned up, of course, those tanks. Not really useful late game against Broodlords. Too much friendly fire involved. 5 nukes building at once here from INnoVation. 5 nukes building at a time. As you see the +2 characters coming in on the Great Aspire. Lings and Banes from Serral setting up on the top. Corruptors, Vipers, and Broodlords. Some Infestors underneath as well. Pushing forwards through the center of King's Cove. And INnoVation with a few Marines just hanging out on the right-hand side. There's this little kind of next wave of bio that wants to push. This base up here, it's done such a good job of denying it for now. As you can see, those Overseers and other units are coming in. There's the Abduct, and Abduct alone will cancel this, and the Broodlords will follow up. Very calm and collected response here from Serral, who just picks off that Ghost. And, well, time for time for V2. Well, I'm actually just going to back away this time. Doesn't feel he can get that just kind of safely enough. Obviously, if one of those nukes lands, it will kill everything, as the bio pushes straight into the top right side. And again, Serral finds himself struggling to take his bases. Again, Lings on their own will not do this job. This hatchery gets denied. In the middle of the map, some SCVs are being given up by INnoVation. He was on 85 workers for a lot of this game, so definitely doesn't need that many units. Oh my god, 2 Infestors get picked off. Make that 3, make that 4. Serral just lost all of his Infestors to this little bit of a bio force. That's really painful. Those are just a few changes. I'm just wondering what was going on there. Okay, well, Trupp just picked off that medevac. More and more drones are dropping in. Again, the nukes are just all over the place, and that's the problem. It's just so hard to keep track of them. Another nuke in the middle of the map. This is the stage of the game where Terran players just get to, and what do you do about it? Serral is a little late to pull the drones away. 13 drones drop down in the middle of the map. Spores are pulling back, because the nukes just keep landing. And Serral is being hemmed into a very tight corner in the top left-hand side where he's just unable to really keep mining as well, because his main base, obviously long gone, natural, long gone, third, fourth, all with a lack of minerals here. The fifth base even on its way out at 22 minutes into this game. INnoVation with a little bit of a push up the left side. Lings will run towards the end. The bio units from INnoVation will lift up and back away now. Well, Krups is actually going to jump in. INnoVation with his own little mistake here as he doesn't go far enough. Seeing Serral losing those infestors, though. That was so costly. Full of energy, not a single cast from them. They are units that are meant to do so much, and yet they did absolutely nothing. Top right base denied again as the bio stims in. Drone gets picked off. Another nuke coming down in the center of the map here from INnoVation. Looking to connect on these sport coolers. Ooh, hits a nice neural parasite there to cancel a nuke. That's the job well done. The Broodlings pressing this forward prime for Fortress. Serral knows he just cannot afford for this base to come through as he does connect on this right side with some of that bio. Nuke lands, doesn't connect on anything. Another siege tank just given up because, well, what else is the siege tank meant to do at this stage of the game? Not a lot. Serral even hitting that transfuse. So it's just, again, we talked about this in one of the previous series where it's just so difficult on King's Cove to really set up around the map. It's really difficult to run by on this map. And with that lack of counterattacks, etc., it's been a bit costly so far. There's a couple more nukes lining up in the center. Spores will pull away. Spores is taking a very slight amount of damage as now INnoVation is even pressing in towards Serral's half of the bases. He's already got bottom left, so if he takes top right as well, Serral is really on his way out at the moment. And yes, okay, he can definitely put up a fight, but it's so difficult to create comeback, scenarios in games like this because you really need to just have some really amazing spellcasting, I think, more than anything else. And we really are just not far away from seeing Serral deny too many bases to ever really get an economy going again. That's 3 missiles, flyer, carapace, flyer, attacks all coming through. Extra nukes, a sensor tower even from INnoVation to just keep an eye on things. The ghost going forwards hits a big EMP on the infestors. Loses a couple of ghosts for it. The broods, actually, a couple of them do get scathed by that nuke, so a little bit of damage done. Corruptors and the Vipers. Up the left-hand side, another nuke in the center of the map. Ghosts on the top side as well. Making their way through this hatchery. Hatchery will be killed. Not even a cancel. Still have his Bioforce pressing through. Lings going down. Some Broodlings getting picked off. Another nuke coming down right on top of the bases. Drones are just pulling in over here. The Lings know where those ghosts are, and we will see them actually getting surrounded. Not sure why exactly the ghosts were kind of just chilling out on their own. Oh, but nuke lands over here. He did pull the drones away, so actually doesn't lose much compared to what you might have thought that was. There's just so much going on at the moment. There's INnoVation. A drop pushed away at this point. APMs here. 429 average from Serral against the 302 of INnoVation. These guys are playing fast, and they're playing fast for 25 minutes now. Again, to a really, really late game scenario. Resources lost, 31,500 on each side. Which would be fine for Serral, as long as he could mine from his bases. But as he keeps getting these bases denied, he just will not be able to keep up with INnoVation. He's going to make a move to the right. If Serral can get forwards here and pick off a planetary, even that's half mined out, stopping the gas there could be very huge for him. This bio just camping this potential base of Serral. He still only has the 5 bases that he originally had. This is the 6 trying to come up once again. Just pressing their way up the right-hand side. Bio will stint forwards with it, and the brutes will turn to try and create a little bit of havoc, but there's a nuke right there, and Serral You just can't press forwards. Couple of bases connecting on his left side. Ling's kind of cleaned up. It's pretty close in the end with the last couple of Marauders coming down. Ghost tries to find the EMP, doesn't quite, and the Broodlords will fight back, able to pick that Ghost off. If Serral was able to stabilize and take some bases, there is potential for him in this game, right? It's not over in that regard, but he needs to stop INnoVation from doing, all of this base denying, because otherwise, there is no hope, truly. More Ghosts on the way out from INnoVation, gathering up. There's just command centers everywhere. A really, really late game match here between Serral and INnoVation. Game number 2. It's kind of what you expect when you see King's Cove coming into the map pool. Nice Fungal Growth sees the Ghost and will just go for the kill on the nuke. Will be cancelled. Another nuke though setting up to the top side now. What more do you say then? There's a nuke here, there's a nuke there. There's a nuke absolutely everywhere apparently. Space. Gonna get hit well and truly. Getting a little bit of bio just getting picked off as Serral definitely been making some better trades the last few moments. You can see a 3,000 resource gap has opened up, so a few better trades. And Serral has a bank, and you know what? It kind of feels like with the forward position he's taken with this army here, he's been able to protect a 6th base. So he gets a 6th base up, and that means opportunity for Serral. That means there's a chance. It's not over yet. Another one sets up right in the middle. Serral has to make a decision on how he approaches this. Looks like he will just decide to pull away. Cancels the 2 spores, obviously. I mean, there's just so much to do every time a nuke comes down. Respread the creep, reposition spores, make sure your army's not there, or decide if you want to try and, deal with it by picking off the Ghost. Corruptors and Vipers go flying across the left side. Some Lings and Banes setting up 2 extra nukes on the way down. Another one launches up into the skies. Really doing a great job of dealing with these nukes. I don't think we've seen, I think we saw one nuke up here that hit like 13 drones a long time ago. Since then, the nukes have not really done all that much. Nukes aren't free, guys, don't forget that. Don't forget the nukes are not free, so this is money that INnoVation has thrown at Serral. I mean, it's becoming more important now that Serral is actually stabilizing on bases, because it is getting to that point where INnoVation maybe can't just throw nukes haphazardly towards Serral all of the time. It's getting to that stage. INnoVation just with a big set of mules up here. Mine out as much of this base as you can, right? Again, even if you just take the minerals away from Serral, that's a win for you. As we actually see, this will be a planetary fortress finishing up. Things are going to commit onto it, then decides to try and back away. It will actually be saved. INnoVation pushing up here. We're going to have a real standoff. The thing is, Serral cannot afford this base to be taken, mostly because it gives INnoVation the high ground position to shut down this base. That said, Serral has the bottom left base at the same time, so there's some opportunity there. A little bit of biosep to maybe attack or maybe just to defend. He's looking for the nuke as he pulls this Ghost forwards, targets it with the Broodlings. Good neural parasite, good cancellation of the nuke. Another one lined up. Again, this high ground is so powerful, though. Again, with the base here that Serral needs so badly. Serral does have a lot of money in the bank, as there's that Bioforce we talked about. Shuts down the left-hand base. So INnoVation still being active elsewhere on the map, despite the main force being up in this top right corner. Serral going to start up a Nidus Network and an Ultras Cavern. So the Nidus Network and the Ultras Cavern starting up right here. You can see the Lings coming in, surrounding those couple of Marauders. Banes will crash in too. Bio still pressing through, a couple of creep tumors being cleaned out. Ultras Cavern taking a couple of shots. Corruptors coming through, good connections. Banes is trying to reach those Marines and will do so. And some abducts on the medevacs to clean up as well. Keeping an eye on this resources lost tab as it's opened up to a 6,000 difference. We're getting to the point where we're almost talking about, couple more thousand. We're talking about half of a base almost. That's going to be huge, as that's the fungal, that's the neural. Cancels. Oh, EMPs, INnoVation's Ghost. INnoVation's Ghost. He didn't actually hit the perfect EMP, but he hits a couple of them. It's actually funny, because if they get EMP'd, obviously they lose some of their energy and they can't cloak up for as long, which maybe could have something of an impact. INnoVation's slowing down with the nukes. I think he's starting to realize he can't just throw these as crazily as he has been at Serral, because otherwise it's going to get a little bit rough for him. Serral's going to see, yep, can't find that Ghost though. Gonna burrow my spores, pull them back, and well, we'll have another ghost coming through. This ghost is actually pretty low to begin with, though. That should go down pretty easily, I think. Oh, it's more than just into Liberator and EMP range, though, and those are some good connections. The Vikings are poised here to get damage done. Army from INnoVation still denying the left side base from Serral. Again, another nuke that's just gone the kind of the one-up on Serral, so you will be losing these spores. I think this is the first time Serral has not pulled his spores away in plenty of time ahead of a nuke. So now we see that high ground being abused again. INnoVation really making use of that. As we see the Ultraverse Cavern here in a lot of trouble. He builds another one just to the side of it. I mean, well, we'll see what happens there. And you know how Nidus has come up over in the main base. I mean, there's just been so much going on to keep track of. There's actually action everywhere on the map here on King's Cove. Lings pop back through the Nidus to come and defend the medevacs. And those medevacs will fall. Serral has a huge bank compared to INnoVation. It's really going to come down to clearing up this army. Clearing up that army might not be easily done. I'll tell you what, it definitely isn't going to be easily done. Spores pressing forwards again from Serral. Pushing a little bit further in here. Another nuke on the top side. Lining up on this hatchery. A few missile turrets set up here from INnoVation as well. This entire army stretched down the right-hand side. Drones go back to mining a little bit too soon. 6 workers die. Another nuke lines up on this base. Serral just cannot deal with that position. Looks like INnoVation's back into full frontal nuke warfare right now. The EMP is hitting on a lot of the infestors. In fact, the infestors lose all of their energy. Everything lost as, oh my god, the nuke lands at this base, dies. Suddenly Serral is back down to 5 bases and no mining. But he does have a bank for now. So he can afford to kind of be down this mining for just a little bit. The Vipers don't have any energy. Serral does get the cancel with the Broodlings just targeting the Ghost down. Snipes coming in though, and obviously those snipes start to be very efficient for the Terran player again. Broodlings pressing forwards, a lot of these Banes pressing in too. He's actually going to run these Banes through the Liberation zones. Going to lose a few more than he really needed to. I mean, it's actually just kind of poor play from Serral not to pull those Banes back. Taking damage he shouldn't really be taking. Banes are starting to run forwards here. INnoVation pulls away. And Serral just lost a lot in this attack. The resources lost definitely closing in from INnoVation now. Another nuke on this top side as Serral obviously focusing on the fight a bit more. Maybe caught off guard by this. Nope, gonna pull away once more. That means this hatchery just is not going to come up with any kind of hit points. Again, this high ground base being taken from INnoVation really was a game changer for him. Not for the mining, but for the ability to nuke down on this base here and to really shut that base and, you know, stop it from doing anything. Honestly. Stop it from doing anything. More Liberators on the way up, more nukes on the way out. Serral has rebuilt, but his bank severely spent. Severely dug into now compared to before. That bank was 7,000 minerals. Now it's, well, it's almost 4k. But there's also no mining now, right? You're going to see Banes rolling into bio. Oh my god, the fungal growth! Bane connections are huge. And INnoVation drops 50 supply out of nowhere. Banelings get some insane shots right there. There's currently a Nidus in the main that is not moving around. Going to be seeing the nuke again in this, now back in the center of the map. If you go to clean this up, Serral's going to try and focus on getting the left side base going. So trying to get the left base set up here. We do see Broodlords in the middle of the map. Another nuke on the top. Corruptors coming in. They're not going to be able to do anything. The rest of the army isn't here. Don't keep your Corruptors next to the nuke, Serral. He might try and caustic spray down this planetary, which is a good use of the Corruptors. This hatchery survives with just the tiniest amount of hit points. There's the caustic spray. There's no repair that can fix this. And that will be a dead planetary top right. So Serral denies some of INnoVation's mining. Remember, INnoVation, though, mining one extra base than Serral ever will if he keeps this one up, because this bottom left base is pretty much mined out as well. And that's why Serral has to keep trading efficiently here. He can't trade ineffectively, because otherwise it just isn't enough for him. He doesn't have enough to play with. Has to pull from this base again, and guess what? This hatchery will fall down. If Serral could just get up to really deny this position once and for all, more than just with the Corruptors, because it is this one ghost that's just been so annoying. It has 37 kills. 37 kills. Hatchery on the left, downed again. Serral has had some mining off this base, sure, but it's not that much. There are thousands of minerals left. There's 3,000 gas on it. Lingers do run by, as the planetary fortress isn't here, gives him more of an opportunity. No, I was going to say, he's finally got that ghost that caused him so many issues, and then it cloaks up, and the Lings have to just leave it alone. Nuke here going to try and clean out the spore crawler. This nuke going to land as well, but Serral just cancelled the base. Now Serral isn't mining though. You can see he's got 0 mineral income. And INnoVation's bank is getting larger and larger and larger. Broodlord's pressing through the center. Fungal lands on a little bit of the bio. Ultralisks, Banelings, and Zerglings hanging out towards the upper left. A Nidus network across the map from Serral. Going to be finished in a moment or two. Going to pop out. And there's a couple of Ultras that are going to go and counter-attack. But some real serious attacks as we see Serral going to focus a bit more towards the left here. The long distance mining this base is going to try and get the hatch up as well. There's Ultras just in the production lines. The thing is, those Ultras are just going to get sniped down, and that's going to be expensive losses. And these Ultras on 3. He's going to try and Nidus the back of the main to get them out. A big bio push again to the top from INnoVation. Those Ultras get sniped down, and the Nidus will be denied. It just takes a little bit too long to build in that situation. Google's taking some damage here as Serral, taking another fight. Parasitic bombs on top of the Vikings, splits away INnoVation, but he's still taking quite a lot of splash actually. In fact, the men, oh no, the Vikings stack back up, no INnoVation! He just restacked his Vikings and he lost them all. Suddenly he doesn't have as much in these skies, and maybe an opportunity opens for Serral to keep pressing this position. Has to be so careful of the Ghost though. Those snipes are absolutely deadly as the Marauders come through. Spores getting picked off. Serral is almost out of money. 700 minerals, 3,000 gas. So is INnoVation. But INnoVation is still mining 1,000 minerals, whereas Serral barely has anything. He's got long distance mining on this left side base as he abducts in some Corruptors. Ghosts are currently wandering into their depth. This base will look to be denied. He is going to be able to get one of the Ghosts that drops a nuke. Another one starts up. He's not going to find the Ghost that is nuking though in the end, right? So he has to back away. But this nuke is on top of the Terran base, so INnoVation actually the one to cancel it here, realizing that's not going so well for him. INnoVation trying to take the base that Serral has tried so hard to mine from all game long. I tell you what, the big thing about losing those Vikings, he has to rebuild some of them, and that takes away from some of the bio production that he's just been fully focused on. It's been a long time since INnoVation had to focus on anything other than just producing bio to throw at Serral's bases. Corruptors come in for the caustic spray on the top right side. Planetary Fortress under heavy fire will be denied. Anything you can deny right now from Serral is so important as INnoVation. Had those mules there, he has to rebuild that command center. Now Lynx can go into that top right side as well and clean out this base. Maybe can finally get that one pesky Ghost that's been so annoying all game long. Nuke over here. Overseer's on the way over. The snipes may hit the Overseer. It's going to be close. The nuke's going to land anyways. Oh, cancelled last second. Broodlord's in some trouble here, though. The Infestor's got EMP'd. Lings and Banes running into Ghosts, and Serral is struggling to deal with this. The bio comes to back it up. The Banes don't connect. The Ghosts get out of there. And at the 39-minute marker, INnoVation has a push up the left side of the map that Serral cannot put an end to. Another couple of nukes in the center. Fungal Grove lands. EMP's trying to hit. Broodlord's gonna get some more Ghost kills. The nukes won't hit much. He cancels them even. Pulls away. Bio to the left-hand side. Lings back across to the bottom right. Drones are gonna go and attack. Or my attack. I mean, they need to attack something, I feel. So at some point here, it feels like the drones might be the only thing left to fight. I'm gonna mine that top right base. Get those minerals going. INnoVation no longer able to mine here, but he got 2,500 gas off it. He got thousands and thousands of minerals. There's just not quite enough left from Serral. If he'd been able to mine this base properly, or this base properly, it's a completely different situation. But INnoVation has done such an amazing job of always making sure that Serral is stuck on 5 bases and nothing else. Trying to get a few more Broodlords up here. Infestors still with energy. Remember, this is just game 2. If INnoVation does win it out, we have a game 3 still to go. Or still to come. Vikings able to pick off that Overlord on the left-hand side. Mules mining away. And as this base is now taken, INnoVation is back to mining. Look at that income graph. He's just been mining so much more for the last, well, 10 minutes or so. But it's been like that for at least 20. And you can see that big fight. Devastating for Serral, just losing way too much. EMPs hit the Infestors, so they weren't able to spellcast. And obviously a lot of snipes coming down, trading very effectively. Serral started this game, losing 15 workers as the EMPs look great again. He did an amazing job to make this into a late game, close back and forth game. Going into game 3, he's got to keep that on his mind. Just needs to sharpen up a little bit. 15 drones lost because he cancelled a roach drone, because he got scouted, then didn't have a defense ready. I mean, those are the sort of things that seem very easily fixed. If you can make a game like this happen from that, imagine a game where you're set up with your game plan from the start. And Serral will clean out this attack on the top right. He will mine from this base peacefully for the first time in what feels like 15, 20 minutes almost. Quick look at the units lost tab. 559 Zerglings, 19 Broods, over 100 Banelings, 33 Spore Crawlers. Almost 50 Ghosts have gone down as well throughout this. Absolutely ridiculous set of units lost right there. We're not done yet. Some more will die before this game is through. Vikings, Liberators, and Ghosts actually spreading themselves out a little bit here. Some of the Marines and Marauders from INnoVation starting to press forward. The scan comes down. Zerglin gets picked off. Drones here from Serral, mining away as well. And there's Infestors, those Broodlords just hanging out to the top. Marine coming in, starting to attack this hatchery. I mean, Serral kind of like, yeah, I mean, you know, give me this base, dude. Give me a chance. You know, go on. You mind this base long enough. Why can't I? You know, what's up with that? Another nuke lined up. Ling's counter-attacking as well. Serral has no money in the bank. As INnoVation sets up a bit of a standoff here. A few Corruptors come over and going to pick off this Liberators. There's just a field of missile turrets on this base. Nuke's just slowly pressing forwards. So just trying to make his last few units try and work. Kind of praying, I think, with the spellcast that he's setting up. I mean, just hoping that the fungals can maybe be miraculous. Like, he needs miracles to happen right now. INnoVation to make mistakes. This is no longer a point where you can just outplay your opponent. This is a moment where you just sort of sit back and say, please make some sort of big mistake. Maybe just take a few moments to think about what's happening in the game. Oh my god, the nuke landed just to the top. Hits 18 drones and Serral is down to 7 workers. As we're going to be seeing, while Serral's still pulling away into this corner of a base. He worked so hard to get it. When he does, a ghost comes in and kills off those drones. And now he's just going to hold on to it with his life. Fungal growth comes down. The Broodlords are coming forwards. The nuke's getting closer and closer. The nuke will land. It's not a cancel. Corruptor dies. Spore Crawlers die. The base is under fire. Fire wanted to stim forwards again. Broodlords dropping back down against it. Liberators are stopping the Infestors from getting too close. Broodlords will make some progress at least. Maybe the Corruptors can come in now and get some kills, but then the Ghosts can still line up the snipes. The Vikings are spread into 2 separate groups as well. And they're just going to come through. The snipe spark going pew 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 pew. And GG is called. He hits some mega fungals as he types it out. INnoVation takes the 44-minute game here on King's Cove. Wow. 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 44 minutes. King's Cove gets played to the max. And INnoVation ties this series 1-1. Amazing game, awesome stuff, and we're getting ready for game number 3 as we speak. So jumping into this third game here. Meanwhile, Group D has already started elsewhere. What even happened in Group C then? Serral, Ragnarok, and Solar advances. Gumiho is eliminated. Oh man. Gumiho with the 2 against Rogue, but Ragnarok beat Solar. Wow. So all 3 Zergs advancing from Group C here. So, we're getting ready for Serral versus INnoVation Game 3 in just a few moments. Get this underway on Automaton very shortly. Third map of this epic series. Ready's ups in the chat. Just waiting for Serral to confirm he's ready as well. Gogo is called. Let's conclude this series. It's tied up 1-1. Is INnoVation going to break Serral's offline winning streak? Or is Serral going to take home the series just to drive home a point of just how dominant he is in this tournament? Let's do this. Getting underway. The countdown's coming in. Automaton is the map. And we are going to be into it in just a few moments' time. Yeah, 45-minute game if you just tuned in, if you just missed it somehow. 45-minute game number 2. And it's Automaton now to see what happens next. Let's kick this off. Let's see what happens. As we're just waiting for the load screen to come on in. How many nukes were launched? A lot. About 5 per minute for the last 20 minutes. Incredible that Serral, out of all of those nukes launched, only really lost drones to like 2 or 3 of them. It was an impeccable defense. It was an impeccable effort. To the bottom left-hand side, our blue Zerg. From NC Sports, this is Serral. Guaranteed first place in the group against the guaranteed last place in the group, our Red Terran player, INnoVation. But he is not going to go down without a fight. He didn't fly to Poland to mess around and to just drop out. He'll fight for every little bit of money on the line, and he can still win $200 by winning this series, and he could be the one to take down Serral in an offline series for the first time since March 2018. It's been a 12-month offline winning streak from Serral, over 40 series that he's won back to back to back to back. When it comes to offline competition, that sees him winning GSL versus the world. He won BlizzCon, he won 3 WCS events in that time, in that period. He went to the Clash Invitational as well, played offline there, swept up easily. It's been a hell of a streak, something which I'd be amazed if we saw again in StarCraft II. A whole year of winning everything you play offline. It's actually ridiculous. Yeah, he won Home Story Cup as well, of course. He had another big event in there. That's the thing. It's not like he just sort of showed up to like, the finish line number 2. You know, he stomped some like 5.5 KGM players or something. Like, no. He stomped like the best players in the world, in Europe, Korea, and America to do this. It's ridiculous. Command Center drops down in the natural. Reaper Scout to begin with. It almost feels weird to not be like, oh my god, nuke, oh my god, nuke, every 2 seconds, because after 20 minutes of it, it kind of becomes second nature almost. So we do have the Reaper heading, excuse me, Reaper heading down to the bottom left corner of the map now. Reactor on the way up on the barracks. Overlord spreading out onto the map. SCV from INnoVation coming through as well. And a couple of Zerglings from Serral already coming along and going to start nibbling on to that Reaper. SCV heading back home. Reaper obviously just knowing that it's safe to come across the map because that SCV is scouted. And we just get this rolling. SCV from INnoVation all the way up to the upper right hand side. Serral with the Overlord coming forwards as well. Again, early game, just a little bit of a chill time here. It's going to be a 2-1-1 from INnoVation, opting for that fast impact, the fast drop at about 5 minutes in the game. So a big switch up from what we've seen before. So that Stimpack will start any moment now. The Starport, the Reactor will come in next. And we'll see what his follow-up from there is going to be. 2-1-1s are not the most common builds nowadays, so it's always interesting to see what the follow-up to the 2-1-1 is. Is it a big 2-base all-in? Is it a third CC and moving in towards, like, you know, just a more regular game? Is there some sort of tank push behind it? Is it another 2 meta? In fact, there's so many different ways to actually go about it. So many ways to find success with that. As we do see this Reaper coming in towards the upper right-hand side. He's just going to see what was up. Finds this Overlord, and the Marines will come towards and kill that Serral. Going to hit a slight supply block from this. Obviously, you don't really expect that many Marines early game, and because Serral's not got the Lings on the map, he's not able to punish those Marines for coming forwards either. So, Serral losing an Overlord, and one of the rare times you will see Serral supply blocked ever in StarCraft II. His mechanics are so pristine usually. Starport lifts the Reactor, the Medivacs come out, and of course there's about 16 Marines here by the time the Medivacs are done. They lift up and go across the map to see what happens next, as we see that Baneling Nest dropping down from Serral in the natural expansion. Third hatchery also coming down on the bottom side too. Zerglings spreading out in INnoVation. Well, he's getting ready to push across. Serral will opt for the Baneling Nest here. Generally, a Ling Queen defense will be good enough to deal with the first round of Medivacs and Marines. But you do need the Banelings after that, just in case another medevac and Marines show up. Then the Zerglings just go down so quickly. You sort of hit that tipping point number where the Lings and Queens on their own just can't hold it off anymore. So you need to mix a few Link Banes in just to kind of force the, the Marines to target fire to pull back, split a little bit, and give the Lings some surface area. Also just stops them hiding in those nooks and crannies of mineral lines as well, where then the Zerglings just can't do anything unless the Queens are able to kill the medevacs and stop the healing. Two medevacs down to the bottom side. Zerglings are Serral pulling back down to the bottom left as well. They're still on the way up, about to finish up here, as we have 1-1 upgrades from INnoVation on the way through. Combat shields have started as well, as we see the creep spread at the front being cleaned out. Actually going to be able to grab a queen as well. 2 queens down, 3 queens down. This is really bad for Serral. Losing 4 queens in the end? Yes, 4 queens. Losing 4 queens is so expensive. Okay, you kill a medevac, but you're meant to keep those queens up and alive, and that makes further medevac harassment very painful. It's just an unfortunate way for things to go. Usually those queens should be a little bit better protected, as INnoVation's still going to try and harass with this dropship. Does build the 3rd CC, by the way. Does eventually go into attack lap here, but not too quickly. So it's going to be the continued extra medevacs and Marines to try and just do even more damage. So another push coming in from INnoVation, another drop in a few moments' time. And then he'll go into siege tanks behind this and the extra barracks as well to truly set up into his free base economy and the production to go along with that. 1-1 upgrades coming up to completion here on the engineering base. The Marines and the medevac down the left side. A scan will drop down and creep spread already being cleaned up at the moment. Quite a lot of creep actually going down here, as those queens will come forwards. That medevac has to boost away. A few Banelings finishing up from Serral. We do have the medevacs just unloading. Those few Marines not finding an opportunity just yet, but can use these as just a really good way of denying creep, of course, and those queens have to be careful. Doesn't want to lose any more than what he's lost already, but they're just sat there. First queen down, second queen down. It's just a queen massacre today. As we see queens, creep, all going down. Now the Ling is trying to surround a couple Baneling connections, but Serral's taking a lot of damage to this. His upgrades are very late in comparison to the Terran players as well. So he's missing queens, he's missing upgrades. He is denying further damage, but again, the queen losses are really, really painful. And INnoVation has a good opening here to maybe take this 3rd map and to be the first player to defeat Serral in an offline series this year or in the past 12 months. Marines back around the center, and we do see a Zergling just scouting that 3rd base coming up. So some information from Serral instantly counterattacking. I love it. Because if there's one thing INnoVation's got nothing to deal with, it is actually a counterattack. There is nothing on this 3rd base. Lings and Banes are going to try and hold a larger Marine tank push down to the bottom side at the same time. Lings going straight after those SCVs. A few Marines there, going to stim. The Ling's going to get held off by the SCVs, not allowing them into the natural expansion properly. Still not bad though, those Ling's going to come back home. Serral not finding the chance to tech up in towards Lair Tech, not able to find a Spire or a Hydra Den here. So it is just morphing in more Lings, more Banes. And here you go, Ling Bane from 3 angles, from the back, the left, and the bottom. And he comes straight on through. The tanks though get big connections on those first Banelings. And there's going to be a lift up on the rest of the Marines. Good engagement from Serral from all directions is what saves him here as he continues to play this Ling Bane style through. For the moment, there's the Hydralist Den. Again, had to really delay this because you just couldn't afford to get it up before now while staying alive. Big counterattack, actually. It's a lot of Zerglings. Siege tank is set up. Kills the 4th base, no cancel. A few Banes here as well. A couple of Marines dropping from the medevacs. Doing a good job of that. Serral is on the verge of maybe having enough to do that, or to kind of like swarm in here and to jump on this. Not quite able to yet, though. There's now more of this Ling Bane from Serral heading back down to the bottom side of the map. 2 medevacs from INnoVation moving over to the left side as well. We still see a lot of Ling Bane in the center here. 5th hatchery from Serral starting up as well. All of this getting set to go as we see +2 attack, +2 armor, +2 melee, +2 carapace, all on the way in. Medevacs starting to unload some Marines in the back of the main base here. Zerglings come in, and they will get a bit of a surround. We see the Spore Crawler able to pick away at these medevacs, doing quite a bit of damage. 2 Marines from INnoVation coming through, and, well, they get dealt with pretty easily. At this stage, Serral is going up in towards Hive Tech. He's getting towards 2-2. At the moment, INnoVation has a 2-2 upgrade lead, but he's not in position to take advantage of it. And Serral obviously starting to get the Hydras up now will go a long way to help out with these fights as well. I tell you what, one thing that Serral is so impressive here, think about how many queens Serral lost this game, and look at the creep out on the map. There's still so much of it, despite all of those queen losses. I find that amazing. Single siege tank doesn't defend Zerglings, so a few Lings jump on towards the tank, the rest go to the mineral line, and that's going to be a few SCV kills as the Marines have to stim over to deal with it. Again, it's those little run-bys that keep INnoVation busy, stop him from focusing on setting up drops using the other units he's already got on the map. There's a few kills on top of a tank. And it looks like INnoVation wants to clean up these gold minerals so you can maybe mine minerals from this side. You just put a command center here. Yes, you don't get the gas, but Terran isn't super reliant on a lot of gas anyways. As Bailings... Oh, one big hit, but the second wasn't there to get all of the kills. As now the medevac's going to start backing away. Resources lost this game. Serral has lost 6.4 to 3.4 of INnoVation. So Serral has lost a ton more than Inno. But has just been mining that little bit extra throughout, those work accounts building up. And now definitely starting to pay off for him as his army supply coming into its own as well. Good wall off here with the siege tank. Difficult to take advantage of as Serral. Wings and Hydras and Banes actually just going to jump on the Marines that are back here. The army on the bottom side trying to fight too, but unable to find anything. The tank fight is very good. And INnoVation is looking really fantastic at the moment. In this game number 3, continues to hold, gets 4 bases set up, has a 5th base to mine gold minerals from. This is going to be very good for him actually, very soon as INnoVation sets up to the top side. Couple medevacs coming along there. Still a lot of creep spread to deal with though. And that's maybe the biggest issue of all, is of course Serral now into Hive Tech. We see the adrenal glands invested, the final set of upgrades, plus the Viper production. We are heading into another later game scenario as the fusion core from INnoVation starts on the natural expansion. SCV is just mining away on this gold base on the wrong side of it, but on the gold base nonetheless. 2 medevacs coming down the left side. The Marines potentially going to get in here and deal with some of these drones. So a few drones starting to drop down. The Queen going to fall as well. Zerglings will come in to respond. He needs limited patrol in here, but the medevac just drops straight into the mineral line. It's a massacre on those Zerglings. Unfortunately for Serral, takes a lot more units to come over and to deal with this right now. The Lings aren't even going into great positions. Finally, the Banes will force the lift up. 5 drones blocking this as well. Does at least clean up the medevacs on the right side a little bit more easily. A bit more comfortably. But there's INnoVation just going up into the late game. Ghost Academy coming down. Liberator range setting up. And we are going into the late game situation now as Marines drop down. A little bit more creep being cleaned out. Going to push forward here. These Lings, Banes, and Vipers. Oh, good. Abduct. One more abduct as well. That's a full medevac. Little turnarounds like that definitely help Serral, who's still 4,500 resources down in terms of how well they've traded against each other here. Obviously, INnoVation setting up into those Ghosts and Liberators, but I do wonder if you've got to be careful not to go overboard on Ghost Liberator. Because if Serral sat on Lingbane Hydra and you're just mass Ghost Lib, you actually do get overrun a little bit. I think he's correct to kind of add the Ghosts and Libs he's adding on now, obviously. You need that transition ready. And, you know, Serral is making characters, so they are going to come in use. But it is something we see quite a lot where the Zerg almost, when there's too much Ghost Liberator, you almost switch back into Lingbane Hydra because it's so good against it. Now, we never really saw that happen in the last game. The reason for that was that INnoVation was very good at consistently building up other, new bio armies. And so there was always that bio there to kind of fight and to trade against it. So that made a lot of sense. We see Hydra's taking advantage of an abduct here, bringing that tank over the minerals and able to pick up this kill. Couple of Liberators from INnoVation going to be popping out. Another Great Aspire. Oh, and I say another in this series. That's about to finish. The Broodlord's on the way, but there is a response from INnoVation. He'll have Vikings as well. So he's maxed out. Serral with a lot of money in the bank. So while not maxed, has the money to max. Just was probably thinking about what he wanted to spend. Always waiting for Pathogen Glands to be far enough along so you could have the energy on the Infestors as soon as they popped out. Because that is what he ended up spending some of his money on just now. Alright, it's a similar situation to the last. INnoVation setting up towards the 5th base. The biggest difference so far is that seemingly Serral is going to be able to mine from his bases a bit more comfortably than he was on King's Cove. And that's very important because Serral is not just, kind of kept back onto 5 bases. He has a 6th and a 7th base already set up here. And so while he's not trading great at the moment, we have seen Serral trade very well in this stage of the game in that last game. And if he can do that now and mine more comfortably, he's going to be in a much better position heading into the later stages. So that's worth keeping in mind, how much the players are mining and so on and so forth. These gold minerals are going to mine out here. It's 15 minutes into the game. We are really looking to lock ourselves in for a little while longer at the moment. 3 Corruptors on the way out. Neural Parasite is starting. +2 flyer attacks. +1 flyer carapace. I love the double spire to make sure he gets all of those air upgrades. Really prioritize the fact that this is going late game, and every upgrade, the longer you have it for, the more you get out of it. So making the most of this. We see the bio from INnoVation coming around. A little bit of a scan here, and just dealing with a couple of Crypteras. Good fungal. And she catches a lot of that bio, and a follow-up fungal will kill the Marines at least. Not enough damage to do the Marauders, and probably not worth the Marauders after either. Liberator gets found instantly. Serral just needs to actually get underneath it, though. Oh my god. This was like the worst position Liberator interception I've ever seen. It was great because he caught it, but in the worst possible way. It's now going to fly over Spore. With the damage is already taken, it is going to go down. Okay, INnoVation sees it at the very last moment of its life. And he is going to turn it just around to be like, oh, those are the Hydras that are going to kill me. Nice to know. Well, Lings are going to run by in towards this gold base, but the Ghosts are pretty good to turn that around. Broodlord still pressing forwards here from Serral as well. A few Corruptors coming in. Hydra's setting up. +3 vehicle plating on the way now as well. Top left base morphing into a planetary fortress. Sporecrawler runs Rose, pulls back a little bit. Sporecrawler to the right side will have a similar tale to tell because those tanks are taking some forward positions now, although those are very easily abductable tanks, right? You abduct these straight down to the low ground. I think that's what we're about to see here, although don't do it if you... Oh, well, he's got the Broodlord, sorry. I'm so obsessed with the abductor, just forget the fact that he has the Broodlords to do exactly what I was talking about and just kill those tanks off. So they were exposed. That was my point. So both the players have all the bases on the map apart from Serral not taking this base over here. This command center has already landed on the right-hand side. That resource is lost. We were talking about a 5k difference before. It's now 3,500. So it is getting closer. Serral is making some better trades. He really wants to come over here and deny this base. Liberators are going to siege up and try and protect it. For a moment I think Serral thought, maybe I can jump on this. He can't though. And he actually has to just keep on running with those Liberators continuing to siege. Fire pressing forwards, and there's actually not a lot to support these Spore Crawlers. The Broodlord Infestor kept back just to make sure he doesn't get sniped or EMP'd while not paying attention or looking elsewhere on the map. Attention is a resource. We see Serral this game is much faster to go into the Nidus harassment, something he started to use a bit of in the last game, but INnoVation seemed to be a bit too comfortable with. Liberator sieging up once again. Here we go. Nidus will just unload Zerglings, which are going to have a pretty fun time picking off the 3 SCVs here and going towards the production lines. I like it though. I mean, Hydra's now coming out as well, so he's really able to get some damage done with this. Those barracks will drop very quickly. This is very nice damage from Serral, and of course he can just get away very easily too, because he just pulls back into the Nidus network. So he loses a few Zerglings, but not really much more, right? Then the Hydra should just get away, although he'll fight in the concave. One Hydra caught him because of shells. Turns back around. If you target down the Ghost, that'd be really good, and it is what he goes for here. Kills 2 of them. Just a few Hydras to get back home through the Nidus network, but I actually think worthwhile to stick around, because killing the Ghost is obviously a very valuable pick-off. Resources lost now. Actually drops back down to about 5,000, so maybe not as great for Serral as I thought it was. I guess he did lose a lot of the Hydras in the end. When he was targeting the Ghost, I thought he might lose like 3 or 4 Hydras, but he did lose a good chunk of them. Another Nidus back in the main. Larger fight potentially setting up on the bottom. A parasitic bomb, some snipes. Corruptors are looking for engagements, looking for pick-offs. Nidus in the main. There's only a few Hydras in here, so not a lot to be done. Importantly though, Serral is able to deny this base of INnoVation. So this base is going to get denied, and INnoVation not going to have that base advantage here, which is very important, because if Serral is going to trade worse than Inno, he needs to mine more than him, and that's what this base here is going to be absolutely critical for as this game continues. And INnoVation knows how important it is as well, already sending units to the top left. Might just want to try and defend this base, but I'd be not surprised at all if he poked forwards to try and check if something's over here, and to try and take that down as well. Corruptors and Vipers through the center of the map, and big nuke going to land down towards those Spore Crawlers. We see the Ghosts pushing down the right side as well. Another little bit of creep being cleaned out. More Spore Crawlers burrowing up. Marauder's still pressing through. Spore picked off. A lot of creep team is starting to go down here. Overlord falls, and this hatchery also being picked away at. Again, that's exactly what we're expecting. That's what INnoVation was so good at in the last game, where he was able to just consistently shut down this base. Again and again, obviously it was a different map, but it was the same base. No, it's the same idea, right? Shut down those bases that Serral kind of needs. And just do that so consistently as, oh my god, the EMPs from some cloak ghosts. Big, because now the Vipers have no energy. The Infestors have no energy. Oh my god, no, Serral runs his Infestors into Liberator range. Hits some huge fungal growths though. But there's just no follow-up to it. Well, we do see the Banes are going to chase away the ghosts on the ground. Serral's going to lose all of his Corruptors, however. 16 more being remade. These Balins are now just in the middle of nowhere as well, coming back along. Ghosts lift back up. And those Banes in the end have actually just been on a journey through the Terran bases, and I'm surprised so many of them got out of here. Definitely doesn't want to go and throw them onto a base. I just don't think that's effective at this point. And Serral hugely supply blocked now. 182 over 162. 9 new Overlords on the way up. Link counter-attack bottom right side, but that Planetary Fortress is morphing in. Not going to be in time to protect, so we'll have to pull the SCVs away. Losing all those Infestors is painful. The 2 EMPs at the start was absolutely crazy. And yeah, supply block just because he lost a few Overseers, which he was actually relying on in the fight. Obviously didn't have extra Overlords built at home, so needs to just be careful of that. Those Overseers are still giving you supply as the game continues. Serral tries to re-expand. INnoVation sees it right away. Resources lost, growing to an 8,000 gap now. Huge difference. Huge difference. Lings, Banes, and Corruptors from Serral moving around on the bottom right-hand side. Broodlords hanging out in the middle from Serral as well. More missile turrets on the way up. Infestors being built. Just a little bit of bio from INnoVation pressing forwards. Creep spread. Going to be in some trouble here, of course. I mean, the creep feels pretty untouched for Serral this game, so losing a little bit of it. Not going to be a major issue as here we go. That nuke spam is starting up again. INnoVation's getting to that comfort zone where you can spam the nukes, control the game. And that really is where INnoVation seems to be at his absolute best in these TVZs. When he's in the comfortable positions, and he's in the driving seat, and he's telling the Zerg player what they should be defending and where they should be going, and all of that good stuff that you just dream of as a Terran, having control of the game. Bio coming down the left side. Hatchery is going to start falling. So Hatchery will go down actually. Broodling's getting picked off. Banelings, Corruptors moving back over to the left. Another nuke lines up on this bottom side base. This base on the bottom also being targeted right now. Two Banes going off, Marine and Marauder getting picked away at here. Broodlord still heading into the right-hand side. That nuke does land, but again, Serral is too good to let the drones die to at the very least. Pulls those away, keep it on top of this while moving his army around in the center of the map. Going to go straight in for a couple of these missile turrets, which are trying to hold this position. One goes in the back, and nuke in to defend, although at the moment that nuke's going to actually kill some of the missile turrets. In the end, he cancels the nuke and just decides to pull away. I think he realized he wasn't going to gain much by sticking around in that location. Pretty brutal as Banes and a fungal growth, I think, actually. I'm not sure. Coming in to deny some units there as well. Vikings coming forward. They actually find this. Oh, the Infestors do get a couple fungals. The nuke gets cancelled again. Last second, it was near the Vikings. It was near the Broodlords. For a moment, it felt as though we were about to have some major connections. Missile turrets continue to be picked away at, and again, INnoVation is really struggling to deal with, to keep hold of this base. So again, a big difference to what we saw in that second game, where INnoVation never really struggled to hold onto his bases. This game, the map's a bit laid out very differently. The bases are much closer together when you get to these external ones, so Serral can put on a lot more of his own pressure. And you can see the value of that so far, as those Banes just want to stay out of Liberator range. Vikings coming forwards once more. Corruptors turning around, getting some good connections. The Banes are going to go chasing down those ghosts. I tell you what, there's nothing to protect the ghosts at all. There's absolutely nothing. The ghosts are going to run. The ghosts are going to split. The ghosts will protect themselves as Serral just tries to blow up in near as many as he can. He actually gets a good view, but he doesn't know where they are because he doesn't have Overseers. Meantime, on the bottom side, the Corruptors picking up Liberator after Liberator. Broodlords are still throwing down the pain onto that Planetary Fortress. Broodlings continue to come down. Serral has money in the bank to remax here, and that's the big difference in terms of supply right now, is all the Vikings get cleaned out, but the last few snipes will get rid of the last Broodlords. 10 SCVs lost, Serral's bank 5k or 6k, INnoVation's bank completely spent, and Serral just needs to get the lava, which he's actually lacking at the moment. to be able to rebuild and to max out once again. But by the time he's done, because he didn't have the lava right away, INnoVation will probably be remaxed as well. A crazy fight here between INnoVation and Serral, and they come out, well, I'd almost say still in a fightable position for both of them. But here's a big thing as well. Serral taking these larger fights on the bottom side, what he is enabling is the potential maybe to get this base up, because INnoVation will be distracted away from that left-hand side, and that maybe lets Serral get that base up and running. 10,000 resources lost difference, still in INnoVation's favor. Serral cannot afford for this base and this base to mine out, because he just doesn't trade well enough to mine only the same amount of resources as INnoVation in this game. And so that is the problem here. Serral feels like he's starting to run out of time to start changing this around. The thing is, if Serral can win one big fight and then overwhelm after that, the fact that INnoVation's mined more in the game doesn't necessarily matter. But he needs to be able to do that. And again, last time, just then, he was lava starved. Now he's got 23 lava in the bank. Don't know if that'll actually be enough. I wonder if it's because he built a lot of Zerglings and maybe he should have actually focused a bit more on, rather than building Lings, just actually really remaxing on his tech units right away. Big Bioforce to the top left. Serral's already aware of some possibility here. Setting up as we see him going to move forwards into this nuke zone to target down that ghost. It will die. Nuke will not go off. A lot of scans over here as INnoVation will lead the charge with a few Marauders, a few Banes already rolling in. A lot of Marines behind this as well, though. That's what the Banes want to try and connect on. Serral will back away, try and fight with creep spread at the very least. He's also still microing those Broodlords on the bottom right-hand side. Marines coming in, going to pick their way through this hatchery. And that's the issue. You just can't get this hatchery up right now. Serral, whose winning streak in offline series is truly starting to come to an end. Targets down the Ghost Drop on the nuke as he's still pushing his way in this direction. Vikings pushing back as well. INnoVation just has so much over here, but also so much bio on that top left-hand side. How is Serral meant to get that base? Well, one way Serral could approach this is, instead of mining this base now, he could focus heavily on mining this base now. Needs to get this gas going though. Mine this base now. When that's mined out, make your move towards this base up here. INnoVation has these refineries still up and running as well, so he's got that available to him. Another nuke just going to clip a few creep tumors. Spore Crawlers pulled back safely once again. It goes to the high ground. Wants to press forwards in towards this mineral line. Just coming through to clean the medevacs out on this top side. And those Zerglings will clean up the Marines pretty easily afterwards. There's the nuke. I mean, this one, the drone. The drones can even see this because the Ghost is literally stood in a Spore Crawler range. Serral isn't responding. Serral isn't responding. A little bit late. He will lose 4 drones because of it, but still better than not responding at all. And that's the thing. He always has something to say about those nukes. There's always something coming in. Another nuke lining up behind the mineral line. Link's coming over. Just missing the detection to actually get rid of this ghost here. Overseer is on the way through, but has to be careful not to actually run it into the nuke as it comes. Finally, the ghost gets taken down. You can see INnoVation's bank though is really building up now. 2k, 6.5k to work with. He's just trading so well in this. Although again, last few moments, resources lost a little bit better for Serral. And of course, those nukes are costing money as well. Continuing to set those up, a good few at a time. There's the Bioforce. Well, we've seen this one before. Deja vu. Serral's base on this top left-hand side going to be pushed into just like that. Scan drops down. The Biopressing straight forwards. I mean, these drones, there's so many of them. He just killed 12 SCVs somewhere, but suddenly 15 workers go down as well. Link's coming forwards, but Marauders taking some damage. It's not enough to clean up this Bio army, though, and Serral is just going to have to keep on forcing this army back, and he's still not allowed this base. I'm very surprised he hasn't taken this extractor still, as this base now has been nuked so many times it has fallen. And so we are back to Serral. Instead of 5 bases, he's stuck on 6 bases. And it does start to look like the late game scenario of King's Cove once again. As INnoVation, maybe the one to do it, maybe the one to take Serral down here. Those ghosts hanging out in the center of the map. 3 more nukes on the way up from INnoVation as well. We're going to be seeing Lings and Hydras picking off a couple of whatever that was in the middle. Honestly, I'm losing track of all these things going on. So difficult to see everything because these guys are crazy. I can't even imagine how they're playing this because they are all over the place. Great abducts, killing off a bunch of medevacs with those corruptors. Very nicely done. Now a nuke lines up on the bottom side of the map. And that will be able to land. Hatchery takes another shot. It's that one position here. It's a new ghost. It's the same old story. Well, Serral's back to maybe pushing this base. This base which is well on its way to being mined out now. 1,500 gas left, maybe a few thousand minerals. Hatchery on the far upper left, as we are going to be seeing a few more Vipers on the way in from Serral as well. Broodlords, Infestors, and Corruptors joining up in the center. We actually have a moment or two of calm while we wait for the next stage of this here. Just a few moments before we continue. Must be the quietest 20 seconds of gameplay we've had in the last hour and a half or something even. Second game of the series, 45 minutes. Third game, now 31 minutes in, as the bio presses that top left-hand side again. This hatchery will fall. It will go down just like that. So the hatchery down. A couple of units going to stim forwards. Queen under fire. Another nuke on the bottom right-hand corner, doing a fantastic job here. So I'll just send his drones back to it. Let's look at that in a moment after this fight. Ghost getting a lot of snipes off. He actually killed the ghost. He had the lings going over, so he obviously knew he was safe to send the drones back. But this force from INnoVation is just a little bit too much. Continue to press in. Serral does not really have a way to shut it down. He just can't stop this right here. INnoVation has had just too good a way of denying these bases. And Serral dives into the missile turrets, abduct, and a target fire. Gets a couple of liberators. We'll go for a Viking as well. Needs a couple of fungals on it. He's just trying to find anything he can get here. Keep bringing his resources lost tab up because it's so important to see, but 44 to 55k, it's an 11k difference. You can see the income lead in INnoVation's favor because he's just mining off of more bases. Despite the army size staying pretty regular, eventually Serral just will not be able to keep up with this. Will not be able to keep this going. Big fungal lands on the Vikings. Can he land a couple more to follow this up? I mean, that's the sort of thing that Serral really needs. Some fantastic spell casting. That's a good amount of chain fungals there. He will kill the Vikings that he got in that little left-hand side. So that's something at least. Big stim of bio. I mean, this base mined out has been for a while, bar the 310 minerals that remain. A few drones on the way up. More bio from INnoVation just pressing down here. Banelings, Lings, Corruptors flying straight on through. The medevac's going to get turned away as well. We are just going to be seeing those Hydras. Also sitting down on the bottom. INnoVation bringing more bio out into the middle of the map. These medevacs coming around too. Creep spread from Serral. Setting up over to the right-hand side. This is just crazy. 5 Broodlords and 6 Banes, 3 Infestors, 2 Vipers in production. But that's it. That's Serral's bank pretty much done and dusted. This is his only mining base that he's still struggling to mine from because the nukes will not stop. Pulls it away again. And another nuke in that hatchery is pretty much dead once more here. And he will at least be able to kill off the ghost this time. Just leaves the Hydras to get the kill. Doesn't let the Banelings roll on in. INnoVation going to take the opportunity to go and put this command center down. And that's going to be even more mining for him. As Serral is really, truly bleeding out here on Automaton. Corruptors and Vipers still pushing up through the center. Bio from INnoVation spreading out a little bit as well. SCV is going to come over to the left-hand side. Serral's army here. Positioning in the middle of the map. Banes, Infestors, and Hydras. Still collecting on the bottom right. Bio pushing through. And we are going to see a couple of spore throwers getting picked off already. Some spores being cleaned up here. Again, you can just see Serral's just not got the foothold that he needs anymore. He can't just stand in any position, and even if he takes a good fight, so what? You know, he's going to take a good fight into what? INnoVation's 3,000, 7,000 back, rebuilding instantly. I mean, on top of that, he's now dropping the Mule Hammer down on this far left base that was once belonging to Serral. No longer is it his. And let's just watch this income tab skyrocket even further into the red. Look at that, up past 2.7k minerals a minute. Those mules mining out so quickly, 3.3k, and still rising. Absolutely ridiculous. There we go. 3.3k is where it peaks out at, compared to Serral, who's mining like 500 minerals. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous the advantage that INnoVation has now. And yes, Serral is maxed out, and I want to try and play it up. I want to be like, yeah, you can do this, you know, maybe some good fungals, but we've just seen he's had so many opportunities to get good fungals, to get, you know, better trades, and he just hasn't found them. Not in this game, nor the last. And that's the problem. He just can't find it. And now, well, I mean, this hatchery really is now one nuke away from dying. Just depends on how close the nuke is. Another ghost goes down, but so worth it for INnoVation. Okay, it's expensive, but not in comparison to how much money he has. It's completely affordable for him. And so we're sitting around the middle of the map. Couple of ghosts going down as well. We do see the broodlings dropping through. Now, just as a reminder, Serral will still advance through this group in first place. He will still advance through this group in first place. INnoVation will still finish in last place. This was after Serral won game number 1. This was literally a scrap over $200. Honestly, if these guys want to play like this for $200, I will give them $200 for every game they play like this. It's been absolutely incredible to watch. As you see the bio coming in, cleaning out some of those broodlings. Gonna nuke towards his own base to try and shut those broodlords down. And we are going to be seeing the broodlings just picking their way through the planetary fortress. SCV's back to mining. I mean, again, just trying to nuke away those broodlords. I mean, the thing is, this is a base that Serral should have for himself. Not that he should be struggling to deny mining on. And that's the real issue right here. That is the real issue right here. More nukes on the way up. Just continue to come on down. This hatchery here is still super low. Although, in fairness, this hatch is almost mined out. 1,000 minerals, 1,000 gas. And still money Serral can use, but is it going to be the 1,000 minerals and 1,000 gas that makes a difference? Unlikely, to say the least, as we see the broodlings dropping on down here. He's going to go into this. The nuke's still dropping though, so he has to back away. INnoVation has to be careful about that nuke as well. This poor Queen's had enough. I only got hired for 20 minutes of TVZ gameplay. Here I am 37 minutes later. Still, you know, still around. So that Queen gives up as well. Looks as though he's just going to give up here because he just sits on top of the nuke, but he kills the ghost. No, KSL never gives up. Who am I kidding? He kills the ghost. Oh my god, he's so brave. He goes right on top of the nuke and just sits there. He just sits there and kills the ghost so casually. What a hero. What a hero. Well, I mean, entertaining us until the very, very end. He's now trying to defend this left-hand side. I mean, your Banes roll on through. Again, maybe with some miraculous fungal / Bane connections or something. You know, you stack the parasitic bombs. Maybe there's some miraculous way and you kind of pick up. I don't know how. Like, I can't even think of a way. That's how ridiculous it would have to be, but it involves INnoVation making too many mistakes to realistically happen. And this is really just watching INnoVation say, well, thanks for having me, Katowice. I might not have performed, but look out when I get back to GSL, because this is what I can do if you give me the opportunity. So crazy to see this from INnoVation after the earlier games against like Solar and Ragnarok, where you just died to like a couple counterattacks here and there, and crazy. Absolutely crazy. Army of Serral still just hanging out up in the skies, waiting for INnoVation to obviously push through, but we're getting to the end of this game, guys. We're getting to the point where this is over because Serral's supply is dropping. He no longer has any income. He no longer has an army to really fight with. He just has, there's nothing he can do. He's just slowly losing units, and obviously INnoVation's losing units too, but he can afford to rebuild, and that's the big difference here. One player has the bank, the other does not. Nukes cleaning up that crib spread once again. Spore crawlers pressing forwards also. Another couple of nukes lining up. Going to come straight down on these spores. Broodlings dropping down. More ghosts getting picked away at spores. Able to pick off the medevacs. Fungal growths dropping down all over the place as well. Liberators. Actually, nuke does land on some broodlings there. Spores still being repositioned. The Serral goes counterattack with some zerglings. Trying to do absolutely anything he can as we approach the 40-minute mark of this game. And we might not end this game faster than the last game still. Last game, 44 minutes. This game, 40 and counting. 4 more minutes until we're wrapped up in terms of timing with that last game, or tied up with that last game time. Obviously, this time it kind of looks like Serral is already dead. It's just a matter of he will fight until the very end, and you know, that's a free ghost. Just use that 100 more times and you might be back in the game. You know what? I mean, look at the resources lost. It's now a 7,000 difference. Serral's definitely taken some better fights lately. It's just too late because he's not mining from that base, which he needs. And that's the problem. And that's why he stays in the game too, because there is a very small opportunity where maybe if you cast those very amazing spellcasts, like, you know, you find this, like, a couple of ghosts, it costs you nothing. Maybe then there's like that slight chance you get back into this, but it's so slow. It's so limited. It's really unimaginable that it will actually happen. I mean, now the ghosts coming through and getting some snipes. Finally, INnoVation scoring some more kills. And now it's going to be actually these spore crawlers going down as well, because Serral just pulled them back a moment too late. Ghost still setting up from INnoVation here as he's going to keep pressing forward. The nuke's dropping down. The Broodlord's coming down to the bottom as well. A few spore crawlers still building up from Serral. Drone sitting behind them. I mean, he is trying everything, isn't he? He will hold on as long as he can. In fairness, it's a tough position. He might, you know, you never know. Is INnoVation on the verge of mining out? Well, no, he's got this base here, but it's at that point where maybe if he, you know, you don't quite know as Serral just how well you're trading exactly. He probably doesn't feel like it's great, but you can't just tap out just in case you miscounted a little bit here or there. Just in case the next minute or so is that miraculous turnaround. Ducks in a Viking. You're going to see the Parasite Bomb coming down. And the Parasite Bombs are the sort of thing that Serral has to kind of rely on here, because they're the sort of things that are free to cast. Just has to get the energy back, and then doesn't really cost him anything. Some drones in the front pulling away as well. Serral still with the very tiniest amount of mining of gas on this base over here. And that is it. That is actually it. He has no minerals left or anything beyond that. Ghost coming through. Lines a snipe onto the Viper. That's expensive. That's irreplaceable at this stage of the game. 42 minutes. As the spores are going to come forwards here. He's confident he can grab that Ghost. As you see, oh, big EMPs across the Infestors. It's a lot of energy lost. It's a lot of energy they'll have to rebuild themselves before they come back into the action. The Liberator's still pressing forwards. Ghost underneath. Another Parasite Bomb is actually going to hit all of those Liberators. INnoVation's bank, it's incredible. INnoVation is actually at the point where his bank is being withered away. Like, his bank is on its last legs. Big fungal growth, but there's not enough fungals to really follow that up. There's a couple of fungals available on those Infestors, but the EMPs drop before they can really hit too many more. Another fungal on the Ghost, but there's just nothing to do with the Vikings. GG. Serral is defeated for the first time in an offline series in 12 months by INnoVation, who finishes last place in the group. That is how ridiculous these matches are. That's how ridiculous these games are.